Alrighty, everybody. We're wait for a couple of y'all to get into the chat room, but yeah, yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G133. I want to welcome you guys back here to the Legit Shoot podcast here with your NXT Takeover in your house review. I want to thank you guys for joining me right here on the podcast tonight. If you guys are watching me live on YouTube while I'm streaming, thank God for joining me. If you guys are watching on demand later on, thank you guys for joining me. If you guys are watching on or listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anything like that, my hair is absolutely a mess. I'm looking at the camera right now, but I need to get a haircut. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me here tonight. I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy. Hope everybody is, taking care of themselves in these wild times. But we are going to review and talk about NXT TakeOver in your house tonight. WWE decided to bring back the in your house format for NXT. This is the first NXT pay-per-view since this whole pandemic started. We've been in this pandemic now for around 3 months. Jamarius, good to see you in the chat. What's up, bro? We've been in this pandemic for about 3 months, and it's kind of crazy with everything that's going on. And there was supposed to be a takeover back in early April, back when WrestleMania was coming around, but that got canceled because coronavirus. All right, so this is the actually. It feels weird that we've been in this pandemic now for 3 months, and this is the actual first NXT takeover event that we've gotten. I don't know when the next NXT takeover will be, but I believe personally that most likely the next NXT takeover, whenever that is, probably maybe near the end of the summer, possibly SummerSlam weekend. I think we will have some kind of live audience for that. I don't know if it'll be NXT crowd, but I feel like by then, we could actually, have WWE on a touring schedule again. I don't know. That's just my opinion because I feel like social distancing has kind of gone out the window with everything that's going on in the country right now. But so we'll just have to continue to see how things continue to develop. But we're going to be talking about NXT Takeover in your house tonight. A couple of quick nuggets before we get into it. I posted, if you guys haven't checked out the SmackDown review this weekend, where we mainly discussed Sasha Banks and Bayley regaining and becoming women's tag team champions for the second time since those titles were introduced. I also posted a legit extra, which was another extra segment of the podcast earlier today, depending when you guys are watching this video, where I went in on Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, all of that, everything going on with that situation, and why Sasha and Bayley had to win the NXT, or not the NXT, but they had to win the women's tag team champions. Speaking of NXT tag team champions, what's going on there? This was one of the first. This may have been the first NXT takeover that we didn't have the tag team championships defended. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the NXT tag team division has pretty much been weak. WWE tag team wrestling in WWE across all three brands has been weak going forward, man. But my thoughts, if you guys want me to give my first reaction thoughts before we dive into this and we dissect this show tonight, it wasn't a bad show. NXT in your takeover in your house wasn't a bad show. I love the set. I love the overall presentation. It felt different. This was the most unique NXT takeover we've ever seen. We didn't have the crowd. Because one thing that makes takeover so special is almost all the time NXT takes place at Full Sail University, and then we only get the full stadium feel, full arena feel for NXT at the takeover events. And then not having that crowd, one, with everything going on with the pandemic, but also having the plexiglass and the set and having the young NXT talent be the audience, it made everything feel different tonight. It made us have a completely different feel. So something that was kind of weird, but I got used to as the show went on. Will I say this was, one of the top 10 NXT takeovers ever? Probably not, if I'm being honest. This wasn't a bad show at all tonight. It was a pretty good show. Calling it great, calling it amazing, calling it one of the best takeovers ever. I believe that's personally is a stretch. Like, there was really not any low points of the show other than Charlotte, which we'll discuss. But if I'm being completely honest with you guys, the show was, pretty good tonight. There was things I didn't like, which we will discuss, but it was an okay, it was a decent show. Wasn't perfect, but it got the job done. I am trying to see where WWE is going to go forward. I don't really know with some of these storylines, and especially there was a lot of names that were on this card tonight that have been rumored to be getting called up to the main roster. We see Matt Riddle; he's been moved to SmackDown. It's been rumored that Dominic Dijakovic is probably going to Monday Night Raw. We've heard so many names from Johnny Gargano to Disputed Era to Io Shirai, and all of these names being flopped around of them potentially being moved up. And we're definitely just going to be at least 2 or 3 more superstars that are going to get moved up in the next couple of weeks and months. But I'm having more of a difficulty figuring out who is going to get moved up after tonight. So. But overall, NXT TakeOver in your house, it was a decent show. Wasn't anything special. There's not anything that really happened on the show that's going to make you lose your mind. But still, it was a good show. I got to give, credit where credit is due. Ooh, excuse me, guys. It's been a long day. I'm a little bit tired. But without wasting any more time, let's get into NXT TakeOver in your house tonight. So the show started off. You had Chad Pennington. He was the original host of WWE In Your House way back when they had the pay-per-view shows back in 1995 when Shawn Michaels, Bret the Hitman Hart, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, back when he used to be King of the Ring, all that. Back when those superstars were the heads of the company. So it's been already, 25 years. It's crazy to think about how fast time goes by. It's been 25 years since the original In Your House event. But you had Chad Pennington. He kicked off the show tonight, telling us everything that was going to happen. And basically, he was the host and the hype man for tonight's show. Afterwards, we had a performance by, I believe it was Code Orange. And I gotta be honest, I wasn't, able to get into that too much. I felt like it could have been better. I didn't really enjoy the performance as much as I could have. And the thing is, the performance went on for a good 3-4 minutes. They let them play the entire song. I was already out of it by by about 1 minute in. All right. But we had 6 matches on tonight's card. The one thing I love about these NXT TakeOver shows is they don't waste any time. The show only went about 2.5 hours tonight, a great length, and they still, in my opinion, gave most of the matches the time that they needed to tell their stories and do what they had to do. So we started off tonight with Blackheart versus Mia Yim and Tegan Knox going up against Gonzalez, Candice LeRae, and Dakota Kai. This was a fun 6-woman, excuse me. This was a fun 6-woman tag team match to start off tonight's show. So basically, both teams traded tags to begin the match, but the big thing was Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox's rivalry. They've been feuding with each other all year, and their rivalry continued once they got into the ring at the same time. We also see Mia Yim and Candice LeRae continue their storyline that was, happening through Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano, who also had a match tonight, which we will be discussing in a little bit. And basically, there was a lot of back and forth. When I look at this Gonzalez lady, all right, I see a bigger version of Sonya Deville. And I don't think that's a good thing. I like Sonya Deville. You guys know I like Sonya Deville. I'm very high on her. I think she's very talented, and I hope that he uses her in the future. But when I look at Gonzalez, he feels a little bit forced down our throats. Or at least in my opinion, that's the way I feel it. I feel like she's forced down her throat. I've been feeling this way ever since her debut back at Takeover Portland earlier this year. She feels forced, and it's just hard for me to get behind her. She doesn't do anything special, and as much as I love NXT, it's just no. At the end of the day, I just gotta be honest. No, I'm not. I'm not feeling it. But there was a lot of double team moves, a lot of multi-person moves. Nothing really special happened. At the end of the match, most of the competitors kept hitting their finishers on the outside, and Tegan Nox was able to get some revenge on Dakota Kai when she hit her with the shiniest wizard to score the win. So the baby faces get the win to start off the show, and yeah. I don't think Tegan Nox and her rivalry with Dakota Kai is over yet. I still love how they have Gonzalez and Kai coming to the ring. Ooh, excuse me. In those like mini little golf carts, I find that cool. I don't know if you guys find it as cool as I do, but I kind of cool though. But it's gonna be interesting to see where this goes. Like I said, this match was fun. It wasn't anything special, but it was a fun six-man tag that had a lot of fast-paced action. The only thing I would say I would have a problem with is I feel like it didn't give enough time to the individual feuds, like Yim versus Lorray, like Kai versus Tegan. It seems like it more just relied on what's his name? I think it was uh, I don't know. I don't know. I think my head's getting is starting to spin a little bit, but one of the best spots of the match was when Knox took out everybody else. I was outside the ring with a senton from the top turnbuckle to the floor, and but at the end of the day, we gotta be honest. Uh, Yim versus Laurie is not over. Kai versus Knox is not over. Those two feuds are going to continue going into the summer, and who knows? Knox and Kai might end up going throughout the whole year. But it was good to see Knox get the victory tonight. She definitely needed it because you don't want her to look like a loser. But we'll have to wait and see. It has been rumored that WWE could be interested in bringing Tegan Knox as one of those female supers up to the main roster. Yeah. Oh man. But, it's not that I don't like Tegan Knox. I just don't feel like WWE would book her correctly because who do they know how to book correctly? Let's be serious here. All right. Let's be honest. All right. Next up. I don't know, guys. Excuse me. I don't even know why I'm yawning so much tonight. All right. I'm not really that tired, but still. Next up, we had Finn Balor versus Damien Priest, and this was going to be a straight up fight. You knew this was going to be. You have Damien Priest. He's a brawler. Balor wanted payback on Priest for the attack that he did weeks ago, and even though this had a simple story, the match itself really delivered. If you ask me, they did a really good job telling the story and delivering it to the fans out there today. So basically. Balor makes his entrance, and he takes off his jacket and runs right towards. Uh, I don't know why I'm forgetting my name today. I don't. But Balor goes to take out Priest with a right hand, and basically, oh man. Anyway, I'm losing it. Uh, anyway, Balor dominated the early parts of this match. Then Priest was able to slow down the tempo a lot once he was finally able to counter on one of Balor's moves. And he was relying on his size and power to keep Balor grounded. It seemed like every time Balor would try to mount some offense, Priest would be able to counter him. And the whole size gimmick came into play because oh my gosh. I do not know what's with me today. But basically, yeah. Ooh. Priest dominated most of the match, but it was hard hitting. There was a really cool spot where uh, basically Priest had Balor up for the Razor's Edge, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is really going to end Finn Balor if he lands this." But Balor was able to fight off of it, and I still I still rant about it to this day, honestly. Because if you think about it, Priest with him hugging Superman or something like that. At the end of the day, let's be serious. It doesn't really. I don't know. I'm trying to think of this. It's not making sense to me. I'm trying to think of this. It's not making sense to me. What's that spot? So Priest had Balor up for the Razor's Edge, and he's about to throw Balor off the ring onto the steel steps, right? Onto the steel steps. Balor is able to reverse it. Then he's able to punch Damien right off of the apron. Then Priest gets back into the ring. Then Balor starts to take control, and he dominates the hell out of Priest. Like, dominates him. He starts hitting his signature moves, everything, and it looks like Priest is about to be done for. He hits Priest with a double knees, and then, or a double stomp, whatever you want to call it. Then he goes to the opposite quarter with Priest down and is able to hit the second uh, coup de grace. And that's how it is. 1, 2, 3. Balor is able to get his revenge on Priest in a very hard hitting battle. And I think this definitely did more for Priest than need for Balor. Priest, it would, if Priest got the win here, it would have been one of the big shockers here, because most people saw Balor getting his payback because he is babyface, even though sometimes he does act like it. Balor was clearly the babyface in this whole situation, and it seems like, to me personally, they have bigger things planned for Balor going on right now. Balor didn't need the win, but it seemed like the simple thing, him getting revenge on Priest for Priest attacking him, it just made sense. It just made sense from a storyline perspective, and more pure logic, if you ask me. All right, but uh, basically, yeah, Balor was able to get the victory. Uh, Trying to think of something. And I don't know why it's not coming to me. Sorry if it looks like the screen or the thing froze, but I don't know why it's not coming to me. I'm trying to think of where they go with Priest now. Because with Balor, it feels like kind of obvious. There's like 2 or 3 places you can go with Finn Balor from here. You can have Balor go up against Walter and Imperium in NXT UK, or you have Finn Balor go up and face Adam Cole for the NXT champion, since Adam Cole is still the NXT champion even after that backlog match. All right. Like, it made a lot of sense for Priest to win this match, and Balor really didn't need it. But still, even still, man, the guy was still like, no. I was like, no, I'm not about to let this go down. It was kind of funny, if you ask me. But now that Balor's won, it seems like they're gonna set up Balor for some kind of big championship showdown. Maybe Priest follows close behind. I'm trying to think. Who could Priest feud with? Maybe you do Keith Lee versus Damien Priest for the NXT North American Championship, but I don't know. Does that actually work in the long run? It does, if you ask me. I don't know. Trying to think. Yeah, maybe Keith Lee versus Damien Priest is the way to go. Maybe that's the way we have to go with this going forward. Even though Priest did lose the Balor. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else for Priest to do right now, even after he lost tonight. Like he's still a boss, in that game, and he's a boss in real life, and he had a really impressive performance. But hey, what up, Anthony? Good to see you. So I can guess Anthony does not agree with me when I say that Damian Priest should face Keith Lee. I'm trying to think of where does Damian Priest go from here. All right, Balor. It's like I said, Balor. It's simple. Balor is either going up against Adam Cole or he's going after Walter and Imperium because he still has unfinished business with Imperium, or they send him after Adam Cole. And maybe they do something like NXT champion versus NXT UK champion. I don't know. Anthony says Balor is put on hold for Walter. That is true. So, but thing is, all right. And then Anthony says Cole needs to lose the belt ASAP. I'll get to Adam Cole in a little bit. All right. And I love Adam Cole. I kind of agree with Moose. All right. A.K.A. Anthony. I kind of agree with Anthony and what he's saying about Adam Cole needing to lose that belt. But we'll discuss that in a little bit. But Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, I loved how brutal this fight was. Like I said, it would have been a shock victory if Damian Priest won, but they were going to give Balor the victory. He's the babyface. He's the guy seeking revenge. Plus, you need Balor to continue to look strong as he is either going after the NXT UK champion or Adam Cole's NXT championship. It's one of those two. All right? But either way, it was a brutal fight, and it lived up to the hype going into the match. And, yeah, Priest is probably going after the North American Championship. That's the only way I can see it. All right. Before we talk about our boy Adam Cole, though, we got to talk about the NXT North American Championship. Johnny Gargano, or the new heel Johnny Gargano versus Keith Lee. I really did I love the promo package they did for this. And basically all the video packages they had tonight were pretty short. And most of them had transitions that led into the entrances for these superstars. So I didn't mind that. But Gargano, there was a funny scene. Gargano is coming out and he adjusts the temperature of the house from 70 to 69. That's something I do all the time because if you put the temperature on 70 in my house, the house becomes very hot. You put that on 69, it becomes cool. It's very weird. But he adjusts the temperature, looks at a portrait of a family member, takes the key, locks the door, and he's in the arena. And he's getting booed heavily. And he's saying, "This is my NXT. This is my NXT." And I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. But the big thing here in the early part of the match, Keith Lee's power, and you knew this was going to be a big thing because Keith Lee's power was going to make it hard for Gargano. Gargano is a grappler. He's a technician wrestler. Keith Lee, his in-ring style is all about power and doing big moves. All right. But if you guys remember over the last couple of weeks, and one other thing, Keith Lee was wearing a Black Lives Matter attire. He had a Black Lives Matter on the back of his hoodie and the back of his trunk. So I did like that gear there. But Gargano went for Keith Lee's eye, the eye that he has been targeting in previous weeks. And basically after that, Gargano would go after Lee's injured left hand. So this match was about the eye and Lee's left hand. And Gargano kept the big man grounded, using submissions and other moves, but Lee was able to recover every single time. Then as the match picked up, and I really do like how the match picked up in the last 5 minutes, there was a part on the outside of the ring where Keith Lee threw Gargano through one of the plexiglass boards, it was like basically a running shoulder tackle, and Gargano did a really good job of selling it because you could see if you watch on replay, Gargano jumps into the air before he gets shoulder tackle to give up that extra lift. So gotta give credit where credit's due to Gargano with the shoulder tackle right there. There was also a funny part right afterwards. Keith is like legit dragging Gargano through the NXT in your house set, and the camera's following him to get back to the ring. Then he picks up Gargano, puts him into a power slam position, and then we see Candice LeRae, who we saw earlier, come out to try to play interference. But then we see Mia Yim behind her in a sweat and a t-shirt coming to keep LeRae from interfering into the match. Then we see that distraction by the woman allowed Keith Lee to get hit with the key in Gargano's eye. And at this point, I thought for sure that Johnny Gargano was becoming the new North American champion. Everything was set up. He hit the key in the eye, then hit the DDT, and I thought, that's it. That's it. Gargano's gonna win. He hit him, and he went for the pin. 1, 2, 2.5. Lee kicked out. Then Gargano becomes irate, and he hit Lee with like 3 or 4 super kicks in a row, and Lee kept kicking it out every single time. And at this point, I was like, yeah, Gargano's not winning because you're not going to make Keith Lee, tap out. So after that, you knew that Lee was winning. And then afterwards, Lee was able to recover, even though he was partly not able to see because of his eye after the key attack. Lee hit him with the spirit bomb and then the Big Bang catastrophe, and that's how Lee was able to get the 1, 2, 3 and be able to successfully defend the NXT North American Championship. I'll be honest with you guys, I was kind of surprised. Here. I thought, they were gonna send Keith Lee after the NXT North American belt, or not the North American, the NXT Championship. I would love to see Adam Cole versus Keith Lee, and I thought it would make the most sense, especially with Johnny Gargano just turning heel, having all this momentum on his side. I thought, all right, most likely Gargano's gonna get the victory here. But no, Gargano lost clean. There is the potential that this feud continues. It looks like Mia Yim and Candice LeRae, they're going to keep going at it. So maybe they do continue this feud. Maybe they just have, Lee move on to something like a program with Damien Priest or another superstar. It's definitely going to be interesting to see where they go here. But it was a good match tonight. I know Moose wanted something like Gargano becoming the NXT champion, so eventually we could get that actual match that should have happened at Takeover Tampa in April with Gargano and Ciampa instead of the empty arena cinematic match we got a couple months back. But either way, I'm not complaining here too much. I don't have a problem with Keith Lee retaining. I just thought, that he was going to send him after the NXT Championship, and would have made sense, with what happened with Velveteen Dream in that match, which we'll get into in just a couple of moments. But he lost. Gargano lost. We'll see where they go with him. All right. I don't really know where you go with Gargano right now. Like I said, if you choose not to continue the Gargano and Keith Lee feud, I don't know where you go. I don't know. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. All right. So we'll just have to wait till Wednesday. But Keith Lee retains the NXT North American Championship, which was a little bit of a shock to me, but I don't really mind too much. Now we're getting into it. Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream in a backlot Raw. This is legit. This should be what the street fight actually is. We see the street fight all the time in WWE. This I really wish I had something to drink right now. Anyway, This is legit what the definition of a street fight should be. And they had it in the cinematic style. I loved it. You could tell that the NXT crowd, not only the ones in the arena, but the ones that were tasked with filming this match, they were tired. They were just like, I'm a little bit tired tonight since it's been such a long day. But this was a real street fight, but the NXT crowd was tired. I've talked about this on the Raw and the SmackDown review. I don't know what's with me tonight, man. I'm really fatigued. Basically, what happened here is the NXT talent that were tasked with with filming this match, they have been, at the Performance Center filming Raw, filming SmackDown, 7 hours straight days of recording, which like I said, Vince needs to treat those superstars better. They should at least have chairs at the minimum, if anything. I read a report that Nick Cross, actually bought pizza for all of the NXT talent that had helped, which was a really good thing by Nikki Cross. And definitely, she came from NXT to the main roster, so she knows what it's like to be in that position. But with the street fight brawl, that's what I'm gonna call this. I don't want to call it a backup brawl. I want to call it a street fight because this is what a street fight should actually be. I loved it. So they had, the referee in the ring. The referee said, "I'm just here to determine the winner. Do whatever you want. No rules. Anything is legal." All right. Adam Cole pulls up in a monster truck, Undisputed Era colors. Loved it. The guy looked fly. You guys gotta remember, Adam Cole's been champion for 1 year. They showed a video package of everybody that Cole has beaten over the last year. And at first, when I saw this, I was like, huh. And you guys know how much I love Adam Cole. I was like, huh. Are they really gonna have Adam Cole lose here? Are they really gonna have him lose the championship? Are they gonna end the 1 year title reign that he's had? I was like, we'll have to wait and see. Velveteen Dream, though, he pulled up in a Lambo, a yellow Lamborghini, and then he was wearing a Negan outfit from the Walking Dead TV show. So if you guys have seen The Walking Dead, Negan's one of the most popular characters. All right, and Dream comes out. He has the jacket, the scarf, everything. He even has his own Lucille. He has his own baseball bat. And so Cole refuses to get into the ring unless Dream drops the baseball bat. And Cole tried to leave without with his belt, which was kind of funny. He tried to get into a car. Dream beat on the car he was using until he was forced out. Then a woman approached in a van and asked if anyone called for an Uber. And then Dream and Cole would start fighting inside the car, and then the woman just left. So the woman just left her car there. Then they went inside one of those fake buildings. Adam Cole went into one of the fake buildings. Dream came after him, and then Dream, for his troubles, got hit with a fire extinguisher, and then Cole was able to take over. Then there was a point where, there was a ladder. There was a ladder, and then there was a car, and it looked like Dream was about to throw Cole into the car. But right at that moment, these lights shine bright. These high beam lights are blazing, and then we see the rest of the Undisputed Era show up. I think it was only O'Reilly or not O'Reilly. No, it was Fish and Strong. I don't think we saw O'Reilly. I could have been wrong, but I don't even remember seeing Fish and Strong. But they went in there, and basically right before that happened, Dream threw Cole off of the ladder into the car back first. One thing I got to say about Adam Cole, the guy does not cheat you when it comes to his work. No matter if it's taking a fairy tale ending from the top of an NXT War Games cage through a table, right? Or it doesn't matter if he's getting thrown off a ladder by freaking Johnny Gargano in a 3 Stages of Hell match. It doesn't matter. This dude Cole always be risking himself to take these dangerous bumps, and he almost always delivers every single time. The dude got thrown off a ladder into a car windshield, and you could legit see the glass and the blood. That was real blood. That was not fake. You could see the glass and the blood uh, all over his hands, and he was legit trembling as he was struggling to get back up. The Undisputed Era tried to use their numbers advantage to take out Dream, and you could see in the back of the Cole that Adam Cole was driving, you see there was a bunch of chairs laid out everywhere, and they threw the chairs into the middle of the ring. Then Dexter Lumis appeared from under the ring, took out Fisher Strong with one of those chairs. Then he also threw Fisher Strong into a car and drove off with them, making it clear that Undisputed Era would have nothing to do with the ending of this match. Then we see Dream. He hit the Purple Rainmaker elbow drop on Cole, and it looked like that was it. But then right at 2.5, Cole kicks out. Then Dream, and I knew this when Dream lost the match. Dream is picking up Cole by the roots of his hair and saying, "This is where your dream ends. This is where your NXT Championship run ends." I could tell he was talking for way too long. It gave Cole just enough time to hit him for a low blow, then hit him with a devastating, it sounded devastating, hit him with a intense paranormal sunrise. They get to win 1, 2, 3. The 1-year championship reign of Adam Cole continues, and he continues to be the NXT champion. This is the final match that Velveteen Dream will get for the NXT Championship. Remember the stipulation that William Regal put in place that if Cole won the match, Dream would not be able to get any more NXT Championship opportunities as long as Cole was the NXT champion. So this basically confirms that, Dream and Cole both will have to be moving on to something new after this. The thing about it is, when you think about Cole, Cole's defeated basically almost all of the big baby faces, and there's been a lot of people saying, "Oh, they couldn't do Finn Balor." Of course, they could do Finn Balor, but I don't see them doing that. Finn Balor's probably still going after Walter and the rest of Imperium. I really can't think maybe Dexter Lumis, maybe that's the next challenger for Cole, but honestly, I don't know at this point. I don't. Karrion Kross, that guy's a heel. We've seen Tommaso Ciampa already. We've seen Gargano. We've seen Velveteen Dream. Cole's pretty much beating them all. Some people were wondering, why is Cole winning tonight? Honestly, I would not have a problem with Velveteen Dream winning this match tonight. I wouldn't have. I'm not the biggest Velveteen Dream guy. I'm a big Adam Cole guy, but when you think about it, Adam Cole is not re-signed yet with WWE. His contract is up in about 2.5 months. Maybe WWE is choosing to let Cole keep that championship as long as he re-signs with WWE before his contract expires. I do know that Adam Cole's wife or girlfriend, I'm not sure which one is it, that she does work for AEW. But the way Cole's been booked, especially in NXT, he's had amazing booking throughout the last 3 years on NXT television. He's won a Triple Crown championship, and he's been really good at it. And he's basically, in my opinion, been the face of NXT since becoming champion. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what they have next for Cole. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here with Adam Cole. But if someone told me that they were a little bit tired of Cole being champion, I can understand. But it's not like the guy is not putting in work each and every single week. He hasn't elevated that championship to bigger heights since holding the belt. He's done a great job being NXT champion. I just was never really sold on Velveteen Dream being NXT champion. I really wasn't. I couldn't see it. North American Championship, yeah, fine. But NXT Championship, no. All right, it doesn't make sense to me. Where does Velveteen Dream go from here? What I would do personally, I think next takeover, you should build towards Velveteen Dream and Karrion Kross. You got Karrion Kross take out Tommaso Ciampa, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, have Karrion Kross go up after all the big baby faces on NXT. It seems like they're giving Kross a huge push right away. I don't know if it's going to be setting him after Keith Lee in the North American Championship, or if it's going to be straight after the NXT Championship itself. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on that front. But Velveteen Dream, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from him. But I definitely think they could, plan to have Velveteen Dream go up against, what's his name? Karrion Kross. My bad. My bad. All right. Forgive me, guys. Forgive me. I'm really tired. Next up. Oh, yeah. And for the Backlund Brawl itself, I forgot to say this. The Backlund Brawl itself wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I don't know. There's some people that didn't really like it. I can understand, it not being the main event. It wasn't the best match in the world. It didn't blow anybody away. But it was good. It did its job, and it ended. It brought a solid conclusion to the Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream story. Next up, we have Tommaso Ciampa versus Karrion Kross. This was good, even though it was pretty short. This was good. Tommaso Ciampa said this on a podcast. He feels like now he is whenever there's a new talent that comes out of NXT, he's the guy that has been put in position to test that superstar out, which is exactly true if you ask me. When you have guys like Gargano and Ciampa who are seen as the faces of the NXT brand, you basically always have to put the new superstars and have them go up against them because they're that damn good at their job. And it really helps by putting those new superstars and elevating them to a certain level by having to go against superstars that are seen by management on a superior level from everybody else. Especially since, Ciampa and Gargano, I don't know if they'll ever go to the main roster. They've been very vocal that they want to stay NXT for life. But Kross made his way to the ring with his first takeover match against Ciampa. I love his entrance. Love it. I forget what the crowd was chanting. They were chanting something like "pray and falling," I think. I don't know exactly what it was. But either way, Ciampa walked to the ring very gingerly, very slowly, trying to, let Kross know that they were on the same level. But nah, this felt like Brock Lesnar versus John Cena from SummerSlam 2014. This match was dominated, absolutely dominated by Karrion Kross. It's like no matter what, Ciampa tried to do, no matter any time he tried to pick up some momentum, Kross was able to brush it off. There was points where Kross was throwing Ciampa into the barricade, throwing him onto the ring apron, right where he had neck surgery, and I cringe every time I see Ciampa have to take one of those bumps because I feel like just one that's too hard or one that's out of position, and then Ciampa's gonna be out for a year again, having to recover from surgery. But this was the first time I've never seen Ciampa be dominated the way he was before. He was legitimately destroyed. Talking about Brock Lesnar versus Cena, SummerSlam 2014, like he got destroyed. He did. Ciampa tried to get back all his moves on him, but he had one last small fury and wasn't enough. Kross was able to reverse it. Kross basically does a standing F5. When Brock Lesnar does the F5, he falls to the ground as his opponent is falling. Basically, Kross does the F5, but he doesn't fall to the ground. He does it standing up the entire time. This is kind of cool. But after that, he put Ciampa in the cross jacket. Ciampa didn't tap out, but he passed out, getting Kross the victory in his first takeover match. All right, he looked very impressive. Ciampa, I don't know where to go with him. He really hasn't had it. He hasn't had things go his way as of late. First, losing at TakeOver Portland, Ciampa losing at TakeOver Portland to Cole. I think the Adam Cole turning. I'm getting my words mixed up. First at TakeOver Portland, when Ciampa lost to Cole thanks to Johnny Gargano's interference and Johnny Gargano's heel turn. Then you have that final brawl between Gargano and Ciampa that we had a couple months ago. That was the second big loss for Ciampa, and now this one against Karrion Kross. And even though we knew this match was the more to have the Miz more enhanced, or not the Miz. Why did I say the Miz? To have Ciampa enhance the style of Cross. Still, man, you don't want to see Tommaso Ciampa taking all these L's. You don't want to make him look irrelevant, because eventually I feel like we all know that one day or another, what's his name? Ciampa's going to get back Goldie and one day become NXT champion again. And I see someone named Marquio Zipta in the chat. I don't know. I think he's speaking Spanish, so I can't really understand what he's saying at all. But yeah, Cross absolutely destroyed Ciampa here. I don't think they're gonna have Cross go after Cole yet, at least not yet, because first of all, Cole's a heel, Cross is a heel. So definitely I could see them doing a Velveteen Dream and killing Cross feud. Maybe they have Cross go after Keith Lee in the NXT North America Championship, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see here. But Cross looked very, very dominant. Props to Ciampa and Cross for doing the job here. For the main event, we had for the NXT Women's Championship, we had Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai. This was built up as the main event the entire show, because after almost every match, they would go backstage and they would show footage of one of these three superstars getting ready for the match. It was basically announced before the show that this was going to be the main event. And it was a good match. It really was. I just really can't stand Charlotte. There was a lot of sloppy moments. Even though this was a really good match, there was a lot of sloppy moments where Charlotte was either brawling with Ripley or brawling with Io, and then you could see the punches miss out of nowhere. I don't really know what was going on. But to begin the match, the crowd was chanting, "You don't go here. You don't go here." Charlotte goes like, I made this place what it is. And she encouraged Rhea and Io Shirai to start the match. The babyfaces, being babyface idiots, listened to her, and that allowed Charlotte to take control. She gave both superstars chop blocks and chops to the chest several times before before Shirai and Ripley worked together to take her down. Ripley begins picking up steam at this point, and there was a lot of moments where I thought Ripley was going to regain the championship and become a two-time champion. Shirai was determined not to let her size put her at a disadvantage. She used her speed and agility to combat Charlotte and Ripley's power at every turn. After several near falls, there was a point where outside the ring, these three started brawling, and like Charlotte threw Io Shirai through part of the in your house set. Then she starts brawling with Ripley. But after a while, we see Shirai. She gets on top of the set, gets on top of the house. This was a really cool moment. And she hit a huge crossbody on her opponent. We got back into the ring, and then we see Charlotte. Charlotte used a candlestick. This was the same way Charlotte got herself disqualified when she faced Io Shirai one-on-one on NXT television many weeks ago. And it looked like Ripley was going to win. She hit Io Shirai with an avalanche riptide from the top rope. But then Charlotte was able to get back in right at that second. And then she was able to lock in the figure eight. Basically the same way that she won the title to begin with at WrestleMania when she defeated Ripley. But then we see Io Shirai come out of nowhere. She hits Ripley with a moonsault to get the clean pin. 1, 2, 3. Io Shirai is your new NXT Women's Champion. All right? She's your new NXT Women's Champion. And my thoughts on that is this was the way to go. This was the way to go because for multiple reasons. Charlotte should have never, and this is where I get a little bit ranty. Charlotte should have never been NXT Women's Champion to begin with. I feel like we can all agree with that, except for the freaking Charlotte Flair fans that have no sense and know nothing about wrestling. What? Can someone tell me, in the 2 months that Charlotte Flair was NXT Women's Champion, what did she do with that title? The whole point of them giving Charlotte Flair the NXT Women's Championship was for her to elevate the NXT Women's division and to bring new eyes to NXT in the ratings war with AEW. She did neither one of that. Yes, her match with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, where she won the title, it was great, but she should have never won. That should have been Rhea Ripley's moment to shine. No arena or full arena. I don't care. Charlotte should have never won that match. I hate how Triple H is over here in interviews praising Charlotte for her commitment and her sacrifice. Yeah, really. The fact that now that they count NXT championship title wins when it comes to a superstar's overall title count, just so they can pad Charlotte's stats and say she's a 12-time women's champion in 5 years on the main roster, is absolutely atrocious, if you ask me. It's absolutely atrocious. It's disgusting, and it makes absolutely zero sense. But, hey, what do I know? What do I know? What does Charlotte do with that NXT Women's Championship? I'm going to go out on the record. I'm going to go out on the record and say this right now. Charlotte Flair had the worst NXT Women's Championship reign of all time. The NXT Women's Championship was probably the best booked women's title on all of NXT over the last 5.5 years. You look down, and I'm going to look up right now. I'm going to look it up right now, right here on the podcast. NXT Women's Championship history. I know Charlotte was the original winner. Let me try to find it. Okay, WWE.com. Yeah, it already has Io Shirai listed as the new champion. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, I found it. There we go. Here we go. The first NXT Women's Champion, Paige, 273-day reign. Great reign. Charlotte held the title for 258 days. All right. Who cares? Like I said, none of Charlotte's 12 championship reigns were memorable. I don't care what anybody says. Just be honest with yourselves here. All right. Sasha Banks, the best female wrestler in the world. She had a great reign, 191 days. Fantastic. All right. Her and Bayley put on the best women's wrestling match of all time, if you ask me. Bayley, she had a 223-day reign. Hers was great as well. Asuka, in my opinion, the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time. She had a 522-day title reign. Ember Moon, I think she should have had more time with the championship, but she did hold the title for 139 days, which is still a decent reign. All right, basically half a year. Shayna Baszler, her first reign was 132 days. All right, she had a good reign. Kairi Sane, 71 days. I do believe that Kairi Sane should have had a longer time with the belt, but she did a good job with the belt with the time she had it. Shayna Baszler, 416 days. Other than Asuka, in my opinion, the three greatest NXT Women's Champions of all time, Asuka, Shayna Baszler, and Sasha Banks, if you ask me. All right, Rhea Ripley, 108 days. Rhea Ripley should have never lost the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Charlotte held that title for how long? What was it? Maybe 60 days? It was barely 2 months. She won it at the beginning of April. June just started. So what? She held that title for what? 2 months? And she did nothing with it. Tell me something you guys are going to remember from Charlotte Flair being the NXT Women's Champion. I can't, because there's nothing to remember. It was garbage. Her reign was atrocious. She did nothing with the title. She didn't elevate anybody. Did she elevate Rhea Ripley? She squashed all Rhea Ripley's momentum. Rhea Ripley should still be the NXT Women's Champion right now. I should be reviewing NXT TakeOver in your house right now, just like I am doing right now, just like you guys are listening or watching right now. And Rhea Ripley should still be NXT Women's Champion. Charlotte squashed all of her momentum. All of her momentum. Io Shirai? Did she make Io Shirai better? No, Charlotte didn't even get pinned tonight, if you think about it. Charlotte did not even get pinned tonight, and she was the champion. You brought Charlotte down to NXT to elevate that women's division, and she didn't even get pinned to lose that championship. And the thing about it is, Io Shirai is on record stating that Charlotte Flair was her dream opponent. Wouldn't it even been a bigger moment for Io Shirai if she pinned Charlotte herself? I guess, but no, doesn't make sense in WWE's eyes. Charlotte Flair, in the 2 months that she held that NXT Women's Championship, she didn't elevate the NXT Women's Division. She didn't elevate NXT in the ratings battle against AEW, and she did not elevate the championship or the division itself. She hurt the division. She hurt the title. The NXT Women's title, like I said earlier, was the best booked championship in all of NXT. One of the best booked championships in the entire company. But no, because of Charlotte Flair and because of WWE's addiction with her, they've hurt that title. And now it's going to be up to Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley to bring prestige back to that title. I don't know what's going to happen. Because Charlotte, they could easily have Charlotte appear saying, I was never pinned for that championship, so I deserve a rematch. And then maybe they build towards a Io Shirai and Charlotte Flair rematch. Or they could easily have Rhea Ripley feud with Io Shirai, and then just send Charlotte back to her brand. Since Charlotte doesn't belong on NXT anyway. Now that Charlotte's no longer NXT Women's Champion, there's no need for her to be on NXT. She can go back to Raw. The thing that I don't like and the thing that I'm scared of, even though this is an NXT review, the thing that I'm scared of is now that Charlotte Flair is no longer NXT Women's Champion, they send her back to Raw. I don't see Asuka losing the Raw Women's Championship to Nia Jax. I am terrified that WWE is going to book Charlotte versus Asuka. Because remember, just last week on Raw, Asuka and Charlotte had a damn good match that got interrupted. What I'm worried about is they're gonna book Charlotte Flair versus Asuka probably for SummerSlam, and have Charlotte beat Asuka once again, beat Asuka for a championship for the third time, and have Charlotte become a 13-time women's champion. I am actually terrified that that's going to happen. And the thing about this, I've been saying this since Asuka won the belt. How long until Charlotte loses the NXT Women's Championship and they feed Charlotte right back to the Raw Women's Championship? I don't know. See Lil Fettuccine. He says Charlotte versus Rhea needs to continue. Throw a gimmick match at SummerSlam. I don't want to see Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley again. Yes, they had a good match at WrestleMania, but to be honest, I don't want to see the match happen again. I want to see Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai for the NXT Women's title. And I want to see Charlotte as far away from NXT as possible. I want Charlotte as far away from a women's championship as possible. I hate it here in Mauro Ranallo go up there and say, Charlotte Flair is the most decorated NXT Women's Champion of all time. She's the most decorated women's superstar in WWE history. I hate it. I really do hate it. Charlotte Flair needs to stay as far away from a championship. I don't care if it's the Raw Women's Championship. I don't care if it's the SmackDown Women's Championship, NXT, NXT UK, Women's Tag Teams. I don't care. You need to keep Charlotte Flair as far away from a Women's Championship as possible. As far away as people with Corona will stay away from them. She's had too many opportunities. It is time to build up new superstars. She's had 12 title reigns in the last 5 years, and none of them were memorable. None of them. She's had matches that were memorable, but not one title reign comes to mind that I can say this was something special. She did a great job holding the title. If you send Charlotte Flair back to Monday Night Raw, to go take the title off of Asuka just because. That would be the lazy, most unpredictable, most uncreative thing to do. Honestly, take Charlotte Flair off TV. Give her a vacation. All right? Give her a vacation. Tell her to come back in a couple months. We need a break from Charlotte. We really do. I have Charlotte fatigue. I don't want to see her on any show. Not Raw, not SmackDown, not NXT, not YouTube, not 205, nothing. I don't want to see Charlotte at all on my TV screen. I've had enough of her, to be honest. She hurt the NXT Women's Championship, and now it's going to be up to Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley to bring Prestige back to that championship. Like, let's be honest here. I'm happy for Io Shirai because let's be serious. If you gave Rhea Ripley back the NXT Women's Championship tonight, it would have made no sense. Would have made no sense. Like what? You had Rhea Ripley lose the title at WrestleMania just to give her the title 2 months later? Yes, now that Io Shirai is champion, you can use Rhea Ripley, right? You can use Rhea Ripley and build Rhea Ripley back up to take that title from Io Shirai. Or, yeah, I can see Lil Vancini. Lil Vancini says, what about Candice versus Io Shirai? I would not mind seeing Candice LeRae be built up for the NXT Women's title. I love Candice LeRae. I'm just being honest with you guys, which I always am. I'm always honest with you guys, bro. And like I said, as much as I love Rhea Ripley, it would have been a mistake to give her the title tonight. It would have not made any sense. She should have never lost that title to begin with. You legit squashed all of her momentum. You didn't bury Rhea Ripley, but you did. She had so much momentum built up from when she. I'm talking about all the momentum that she had from when she went on that huge streak to end 2019, when she won the NXT War Games match, when she won the Survivor Series match for NXT at Survivor Series against Sasha Banks, when she won the NXT Women's Championship on the last NXT to end 2019, all the way up to WrestleMania. All that momentum squashed when you had her lose to Charlotte. Now you need to build her back up. And yes, I have no problem with Rhea Ripley eventually defeating Io Shirai to regain the NXT Women's Championship. But to do it tonight, to do it in this way, it would have been a mistake. Let's see what Io Shirai can do with the belt. I'm glad that the belt is now back on NXT every single week. And that was it. I'm happy that Charlotte's no longer going to be stuck in NXT. But, knowing WWE, they'll probably have Charlotte get a rematch against Io Shirai because why not? Because why not? But either way, Charlotte hurt that NXT Women's Championship. She hurt the entire women's division. And I'm glad that the title was off of her. All right. Other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today, man. Thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Thank you guys for joining me for this NXT TakeOver in your house review. Just a quick recap of things. Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you, Rockstar. Charlotte Flair is not a draw. Oh, hell no. She's nowhere close to a draw. But, excuse me. NXT in your house tonight. It wasn't the best TakeOver, show. It was an okay show. It was a decent show. Most of the matches was good, but it's not anything that, is going to make me say, hey, this was the best TakeOver of all time. Hey, man, you have to go back and watch the show. I'm probably not going to, go back and rewatch any of the matches. I might go back just to watch, Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream because I really like what they did with that match. But other than that, nothing else really stood out to me on the show. It was a good wrestling pay-per-view. It was I'll give it a nice B. All right. I'll give it a nice B. It was good to see the In Your House concept come back. I'll give WWE credit. I think they did a really good job with the set and the overall theme of the show. But when I look at the entire show, from the matches, to the storylines and everything in between, I got to give the show about a B. All right? I would give it about 6.5 out of 10. Wasn't perfect. Wasn't anything special, but it was a good pay-per-view. We'll see what happens this Wednesday. We'll see what's the next big NXT show they start building up to. It probably won't be for at least a couple months. Maybe SummerSlam, if SummerSlam is on time. Maybe that will be the next big show. or the next big takeover event, but we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, NXT takeover in your house tonight, B show 6.5 out of 10. Not bad. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of NXT in your house tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show itself. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. I apologize if I was a little bit tired. It's been a really long day, but still, man, I wanted to give you guys a review of the show tonight. Thank you guys for joining me here on the podcast. If you guys did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitz1 TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'll see you guys later, man. Have a great day, guys. Peace.